Looking deep into the universe is like taking a trip down memory lane. The farther from Earth we look, the farther back in time we see. The farther back in time we see.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 67 of the most must-see show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves, or any airwaves for that matter, The Wrestling Connection. I'm your host, as always, your connection to the wrestling world, and current WK King of Pay-Per-View Champion, Ken Hill. Normally I'm accompanied by my good friends, Mr. J. Julian, and my longtime friend and co-host Zach Martinkus, the Mad Wolf. However, they cannot be here, but even though only 1/3 of the stronghold is here, I promise to deliver on 3 times the fun. Now, a little on a serious, tragic note, before we get into things for this week's show. This week, we lost one of the greats. We lost one of the immortal men in professional wrestling. I'm talking about the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, who passed away earlier this week, at the age of 69. Dusty was one of the greats: NWA, AWA, WCW, TNA, and of course WWE, a multiple-time world and tag team champion, United States champion. There isn't a ring that Dusty didn't wrestle in that he did not leave an impact in. He has a legacy in the Rhodes family, in his 2 sons, Dustin Rhodes, otherwise known as Goldust, Cody Rhodes, or real life known as Cody Runnels. Dusty, like I said, was one of the greats. He was a great technician. He was a great performer in the ring, on the microphone. His inflections, his accent, and of course his catchphrases were legendary in their own right. If you will, I've wined and dined with kings and queens and sat in the alley and ate pork and beans. I mean, it defined Dusty as the common man, as someone that everyone in the audience, in the live audiences, could connect to. The hard working man, the common man. And that's something that Dusty embraced and ran with. Polka dots and all. Dusty Rhodes will be missed here, and we here at the Wrestling Connection send out our deepest condolences to the Runnels family. We wish nothing but the best for Cody, for Dustin, for everyone in the Runnels family. American Dream, you will be missed. Any image of the legacy of the Rhodes family. Three generations. I liked the new intro for Ken's dance. A little more subdued. It's just straight to the point, and I don't get that screeching howling wolf in my ears. Got enough of that from Zach. All right, now anyway, quick Ken's Den before we get into the swing of things here for the pay-per preview for Money in the Bank. Last week, John Cena and Kevin Owens, after their match at Elimination Chamber, it was a fantastic match. It was a fantastic match. 4 stars, 4.5 stars all around for both men. They put on a barn burner of a match like I expected. But then in the following night, they had a good back and forth promo, really to sell, really to build up their next match for their rematch for Money in the Bank. Now, and here's where I kind of have the problem. And do not take this the wrong way when I say this. Don't take this the wrong way. I mean, Cena points out how his mantra, hustle, loyalty, and respect, how, never give up. I mean, how those aren't just words to him. They aren't just words on a towel. They aren't words on a T-shirt. But he embodies them, and he sees people out in the audience embody them. He points out to a young boy, a young fan in the crowd, who's got a sign that says, I'm beating cancer. And Cena specifically points him out and says how he's an inspiration to never give up. Now, I find that very commendable. I applaud John Cena for pointing someone like that, acknowledging people like that who go through daily struggles such as that. But part of me can't help but think, okay, that this is the same thing Cena's been doing year in and year out. That when you feel like the full crowd is starting to turn against him, he points out something or someone that he's essentially daring us to boo him now. Okay, I'm supportive of the troops. I'm supportive of people who never give up and never surrender. I'm supportive of people who are fighting sicknesses each and every day, who are struggling with illnesses and cancer. Okay, if you're booing me, you're booing them. That's what part of what John Cena's done the past couple of years, is that he's tied himself to our fighting men and women. He's tied himself to kids who deal with sickness and cancer, who are poor in health. Okay, he ties himself to these people in order to better himself, to paint himself as an all-knowing, all-loving hero. And while I don't fully buy into the whole Kevin Owens belief that Cena is completely manipulating us, he's manipulating our children, the newest generation of wrestling fans. I don't completely buy into that. Unfortunately, Cena doesn't help his case when he's going out specifically pointing out a single member of the audience and saying, "Oh, I beat cancer." Okay, what if there wasn't a cancer survivor in that audience? What if there wasn't one? Okay, what do you do? What do you do now? Point out a soldier in the audience? You're gonna point out a soldier in the audience, John? Okay, here's the idea. Turn the crowd back around to you on your own merits. Don't go pointing out someone in the army. Don't go pointing some kid out who's dying of cancer, who's fighting cancer or fighting some illness, just to turn the crowd around for you. Because guilting us into cheering for you is just as bad as anything Owens could say or any other heel could say. You're not painting yourself in a very good light when you're more or less exploiting these kind of people just to get an edge in crowd support. All right. Now, moving on. Hey,
wait. Hey, Ken?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Open the gift.
You know, all I gotta do is kick one stool out, and his return will be a short one, right?
Did you miss me?
I just gotta kick one stool out. That's all I gotta do. Yeah,
Am I the new co-host? Kenny and the printer.
Keep dreaming, Greg.
It's not Greg.
Yeah, it's Greg.
No, it's the printer.
Dude, seriously, I got tired of the printer the first day he came on.
Can you just get on to the match, please?
I'm trying to get on the match. You're the one.
Hurry up. Just leave him alone.
Like my new look.
All right. So, okay, now we're here for the pay-per preview view for Money in the Bank. We kick things off with, of course, the kickoff match. We got R-Truth versus King Barrett. Now, the King's had a run of rough luck the last few weeks since his coronation as 2015 King of the Ring. He's been on a big-time losing streak, and R-Truth has capitalized on that, picking up a recent win over the King, and they have a rematch scheduled down the line for this Sunday. Now, that being said, I mean, I have not understood the logic behind how much airtime Truth's been getting in 2015 when he has not been relevant since his heel turn back in 2011. It's made no sense to me how he's gotten this much publicity, this much airtime on Raw and SmackDown. Begs the question. Now, I mean, Barrett needs to have a rebound victory here. He needs to get a string of wins going. He needs to put himself back in the hunt for, whatever title he may be looking for the Intercontinental title, U.S. title, maybe even pursuing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship sometime in the near future, which is why I'm thinking that we'll probably get this as a last-minute announcement, par for the course for WWE, that this may very well be a entrance match into the Money in the Bank. Either whoever comes out on top here will be the eighth and final entrant into the Money in the Bank, because 7 always seems like such an odd number, any way you put it. Now, that being said, like I said, I mean, I just find it hilarious that they think, normally I'd go with Barrett here. I think he needs to string together some wins, but just the way WWE's been going here, they've been going to the moon here with Truth for some reason. Like I said, they've been giving him airtime. They've been having cut promos. I mean, you even have him come out on Monday talking about how he conquered his fear of ladders, and he wasn't even entered in the Money in the Bank match, which is kind of, I think, like a foreshadowing that he's going to be entered into Money in the Bank, which means I'm going with R-Truth to take the win here, and he'll likely be the 8th and final entrant in Money in the Bank. Not concrete on that, but seems like the way they're going for this match. So I'm going with R-Truth. All right, so Brian, what's your take on the kickoff match?
These kickoff matches have been pretty unpredictable as of late, and they're always they've been really short and really bad. I'm gonna go with Truth as well. I have no good real reasoning. Could go either way, but gonna go with Truth. And real quick, Zach, I have all Zach picks, so I'll just read him.
Okay.
He's going to go with Barrett.
All right, he's going with Barrett. Okay.
He's going with Barrett. I'm going with Truth.
And what is Greg? Oh, I'm sorry. What is the printer?
Our truth will win by winning. Because that's the truth and the printer only speaks truth. So our truth will win by victory.
Yeah, but last time I checked, Brian kicked your electronic butt at WrestleMania. So there. All right, so moving on to the first championship match of the evening, we had the Divas title match, which is going to be... Oh, well...
Did I beat you, though?
Yeah. All right, it's going to be...
Did I beat you, though?
It's going to be Paige challenging Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. Now, Paige actually received a... Now, this all came about actually after WWE Payback, after the triple threat match involving Paige, Naomi, and Nikki, where Nikki picked up the win after pinning Naomi. Obviously, that means Naomi goes to the back of the line as far as title contention goes, and Paige was the odd man out. And since she never got her one-on-one championship match, Nikki decided to be a sporting champion and granted it to her the night after Payback, only for Nikki to pull out a long unseen trick, and we wish it remained unseen, twin magic, stealing a victory from Paige. Now, of course, Paige has made a big stink about this. She promised to do something about it. She promised that, okay, it's not going to be the case of, oh, if you can't beat him, join him. It's going to be the case of, if you don't like what's going on in your world, you have the power to change it. And Paige has all but promised that things are going to change this coming Sunday. But Nikki responded saying, okay, this may be Paige's house, but she's living in the Bella's world. Now, that being said, it seems like that every time I try going against Nikki, I get proven wrong here. Okay, it seems like, okay, they're trying to erase AJ's record-breaking title reign as Divas champion. They're trying to have Nikki last until, like, what, September, October to break said record. But you know what? Why break my own streak? Why break my own streak? Why not? I'm going to go with Paige. I'm going to go with Paige to pick up the victory. I mean, these two actually had they had a pretty entertaining contest that the night after Payback. I'd like to see these two face off again. I'd also like to see the twin magic backfire on Nikki, and Paige will capitalize for the victory. All right, Brian, which diva do you think will come out on top?
The Divas division's really thin, and it's such a shame AJ retired at such a young age. But like you said, I think that they're trying to give Nikki the record. I don't see her losing anytime soon. It's going to be a fairly competitive match. I think we might see some interference from Brie, but I'm going with Nikki Bella.
All right, and we heard that Zach's pick was going to be...
Yes, Zach is going to go with Paige.
Who else? His little English muffin. His little crumpet. All right. Oh, God forbid, I hate saying this. Printer, what's your pick?
Paige. The printer loves pages.
Of course
Luck of the
you
night.
do.
Printer plus page equals printer plus belt. Mine is belt for Ken. Mine is belt for Zach. Mine is belt for Jillian. Mine is belt for producer Brian. Luck of the night.
Hey, will you hit it for me now? Thanks.
Anytime. Seriously, anytime. Just.
One more. Thanks.
No problem. Okay, now moving on.
I thought you were strong.
You want me to be strong?
No, don't do it. Let's just ignore him. Just ignore him.
Sure.
Just don't even pay attention to him.
All right. Okay, now moving on to the next match, we have the second championship match of the evening, a Intercontinental Championship match between the new champion, the big guy, Ryback, versus the Big Show. Now, Show had something to object about Ryback calling himself the big guy, calling himself a dominant athlete, when Big Show has been that sort of dominant athlete for the past 22 plus decades. Now, originally this was supposed to involve Miz as well, because he had been making some noise about being involved in about being forced out of the title picture by Big Show. We were expecting a triple threat match, but considering how easily Ryback dispatched the Miz this past Thursday on SmackDown, that more or less may be the reason why Miz was ridden out of the match here. So anyway, we have a straight up power match between Big Show and Ryback. Neither man's what you would call a these two don't exactly have a whole lot of finesse to them. We're not gonna see an athletic contest here. This is gonna be two big old bulls just trying to knock each other down. It's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be what good old Jim Ross said, bowling shoot ugly. And that's that's putting it lightly. Look, I mean, just the way this match is set up, I mean, and just the way Big Show's been protected for the past year or so, I'm stymied. But Ryback also won the championship recently, and they made a relatively big deal out of Ryback winning his first championship. To only have it last a month would diminish his character, would diminish the whole point of Ryback and won the championship. Okay, if you were going to give Big Show the belt, you could have just stuck him. You could have just stuck him in the Elimination Chamber and had him win the belt there. Okay, then what was the point of putting on Ryback? All right. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I don't see a clean finish here. I don't see a clean finish for this match. I see Ryback. I pick Ryback to win, but it'll likely be by disqualification to keep this match going along. I mean, the one little hiccup in this feud was Ryback actually already shell-shocking the Big Show. That's kind of that surprise element that I would have saved for a pay-per-view match like this, and kind of lends more credence to the fact that Big Show knows he can get shell-shocked, so he'll likely do something or to avoid that, like getting disqualified. So I see Ryback taking the win here by DQ, and some way, somehow, unfortunately, this feud will continue. So I go with Ryback. Brian?
I'm going to go with Ryback, too. It doesn't make sense to take the belt off him so soon. I do think that these guys are going to try to do something special for this match. I don't know if they're capable of it. But was it last match when Ryback went up to the top ropes against Bray Wyatt?
He did for a top rope splash.
I'm thinking something like that, but maybe even more extreme this time.
Well,
These guys are going to try to prove us wrong. You know, because most of us are critical of this, but I think that they might try to pull up all the stops here.
I mean, I know where you're getting at. 2000, I believe it was 2012. Mark Henry was the world heavyweight champion, and you had him and Big Show at the Vengeance pay-per-view, where Henry superplexed the Big Show, and the entire ring collapsed as a callback to the Brock Lesnar Big Show match from SmackDown in 2003. So they might do something similar to that. I know Ryback can suplex the Big Show. I'm not doubting that. But, I mean, I would think they would try going with something a little different. Sort of the same, like, okay, they do the shell shock, except the ring collapses. Like, do maybe a second rope shell shock or something or other.
Or maybe Big Show goes up at the top ropes.
Well, I mean, he's done that. He's done an elbow drop onto Mark Henry. So I mean.
Yeah, no, I know something like that. You know,
something.
Be interesting. But anyway, my pick for that match is Ryback.
All right.
And Zach's also is Ryback.
All right, so 3 for Ryback, and I wonder who the printer is going to pick. Who in God's name could the printer possibly pick for this match? It's the Big Show. Is that what you're going to say?
The printer's
to our third championship match of the evening, a tag team championship match with the new #1 contenders.
I love you, Big Show.
And fish swim, birds fly, and the printer's got he's got an electronic man crush on the Big Show. Okay, anyway. We got the new #1 contenders, the primetime players, going up against the champions, the New Day. Now, we know Kofi Kingston's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which likely means it'll be Big E and Xavier going this round for the New Day. Now, the New Day have been using every underhanded tactic they can. They've been running roughshod over the tag team division, which unfortunately has been thinning out lately. I mean, we had Jey Uso, who's been out since WrestleMania with a shoulder injury. He had to leave to get surgery. We recently found out earlier this week that Tyson Kidd injured himself at Elimination Chamber. He has a spinal injury, much along the lines of what Edge and Stone Cold Steve Austin suffered. He's going to be out from anywhere from 8 months to a year. So unfortunately, that puts the Cesaro-Tyson Kidd tag team on hold. So the tag team ranks have been thinning out a lot lately, and that may or may not be the reason why the primetime players were put in this position. They are a veteran tag team. They've been around the longest. They have the most experience, and it makes sense because as much as I'd like to see the Lucha Dragons, another athletic, high-flying team, much like the New Day, go up against Kingston and the others. All right, the Lucha Dragons are still new in the same realm as Neville. They're new, they're fresh, they're entertaining. They're not quite ready for a one-on-one title opportunity. Maybe sometime later this year, but not right now. That being said, I mean, I feel like that the primetime players are just kind of placeholders right here. I mean, like I said, I see the New Day feuding with the Lucha Dragons somewhere down the line. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll be an entertaining match. I mean, Titus has been showing off his physical chops in the ring. He's been a go-to guy for when you want an entertaining hot tag. Titus has been your go-to guy. He's been really stepping things up lately, both on the mic and in the ring, which is something I envisioned for him a couple of years back. I picked him as like one of the superstars on the rise in WWE. That being said, though, the New Day they've got so much potential as a heel tag team in the long run. I really don't think they've scraped the surface yet as far as that goes. So I'm going with the New Day, following some nefarious new way to retain their tag team titles we've yet to see. Like I said, these guys come up with something new every week, so you never know. But I'm going with the New Day to retain. Brian?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the New Day too, and I'm going to make them the lock of the night. They're just so hateable, and they're so good at getting under people's skin, especially Xavier Wood, and they're doing a great job there. You know, they're over with the people, the managers backstage. I just want to know where Rowan and Harper are. They would be great against the New Day.
Well, I mean, you would think so, but I mean, in the same realm, okay. I mean, they're a full-on heel tag team. I mean, heel versus heel would be an interesting dichotomy. It would be interesting, but the problem is, people wouldn't really know who to cheer for. They would probably aim more.
That's true. I mean, I could see Rowan and Harper.
Not to mention they used the 3D this past week, which is raised some eyebrows, so to speak, and gotten the attention of former Dudley Boy members, Bully Ray and Devon. I mean, I don't know where that's going to go. That just seems like a Twitter war. Who knows?
Yeah. So my pick, New Day, lock of the night. And Zach is going with New Day as well.
New Day as well. Okay, and
I love you, Big Show.
Okay.
The
He's
print
not in
time
this
players.
match, printer. Oh, who is that?
The
Who
print
is
time
that man
players.
behind the printer?
I heard they love to print. Printing is my favorite. Go print time players. It's print time.
Did you just say print time players?
Yeah, he's confused.
Oh, good God.
Oh, prime time. That's good too. Prime-time players win by being victorious.
Yeah, primetime players are worth millions.
I think our printer's a little confused on what it really is
Maybe,
deep down inside.
I should knock some sense into it.
Please do.
Try it.
Did that help? Because it certainly helped me.
Help me too.
Okay, so now we come to a much anticipated rematch between the United States champion John Cena and
Hey
the
guys,
NXT champion
was
Kevin
there just a
Owens.
gust of wind?
Now, Owens had the most it's like Michael Cole said at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Owens had the most monumental victory, I think, in World Wrestling Entertainment history, picking up a win over 15-time world champion John Cena. A monumental victory. I mean, something that not even Cena can't even brag about is that Owens picked up a victory in his first match against a multiple-time former world champion. And I mean, ever since then, he's been on the lips of everyone on Twitter, on Facebook, and social media, in wrestling, outside of wrestling. Kevin Owens has been on everyone's mind, and Owens is trying to take that one step further. He wants to fully expose John Cena, because John Cena, he comes to realize that John Cena actually believes the hype he talks about: hustle, loyalty, respect. He believes the quote-unquote garbage he spews about, caring for the children and our troops and everything else. And he wants to fully expose Cena as the liar that he is, as the corrupter of children. Much like he believes that Cena has corrupted his own sons, Owens' sons, his son Owen Owens. I know, totally makes sense for a name, doesn't it? But anyway, now logic would dictate here that Cena gets his win back from Payback. Logic dictates, okay? Owens gets a win, Cena gets a win. But the problem with that is that, okay, every time we've seen, the last two feuds we've seen this, Cena versus Wyatt, Cena versus Rusev, both times that Cena's opponent has gotten a win, it's been made or was ultimately in itself fruitless, pointless. I mean, Cena versus Wyatt. Wyatt's sole victory over Cena came in a steel cage thanks to a demonic singing child. That's how he won. And then, okay, you have Rusev winning in his first match against Cena at WWE Fastlane. Okay, because of a low blow. So it was a semi-clean victory for Rusev, but then he loses the next 3 matches to John Cena. So that victory is ultimately swept under the rug and proved to be fruitless. So the problem here is, okay, if logic dictates Cena gets the victory, okay, that just makes Owens the latest victim of a feud with John Cena. It makes him no better than Rusev, makes him no better than Wyatt. Two big men who I think had all the potential in the world before they ran up against John Cena. You say, these guys get a rub from facing John Cena. No, their characters get completely derailed from facing John Cena. It took a full year for Wyatt's character to be rebuilt up to the point where he could be seen as an equal taking on the immortal Undertaker. Where he could be seen as an equal to the Undertaker. And even then, he still lost. I mean, you had Rusev built up as an unstoppable Russian monster, a Russian brute, for over a year. And as soon as he ran up against Cena, he turns into a blubbering ex-boyfriend of Lana. All right, so what is Owens going to turn into? If he loses here, he turns into a jaded, bitter father who couldn't live up to be the role model to his son that John Cena purportedly is. Or he could pick up the win over John Cena and prove to be that guy that John Cena talked about a year ago, who's going to come along and knock John Cena and kick down the door and knock John Cena off his pedestal. And I put my money on Owens last time at Payback. He came through for me. I'm putting my money on Owens this time. I am picking Owens to win. I am making him my lock of the night. Okay? Owens has to win. If Owens does not win here, the rubber match doesn't matter. It doesn't matter here because if Owens does not get 2 victories in a row over John Cena, he goes the same route that every other big time opponent that's come up against Cena in the last few years. He just fades away into the mid card. WWE signed this guy to a full-time WWE contract. They've got a big time investment in him. It needs to pay off. I'm going with Owens here. He's my lock of the night. Brian?
Ken, you make some good points, but did you forget about the Seth Rollins-John Cena feud not too long ago? Seth Rollins went on to be heavyweight champion of the world.
Okay, that was okay, and Cena ultimately here's the problem with that. Cena still came out on top of the feud. Okay, the Authority
Exactly, that's my point. Cena can still come out on top over Owens, and Owens can still end up being champions soon. I mean, that's how it works.
Okay, all right, so let's see. Rollins has won the WWE World Championship, and he's made him look like an absolute joke ever since. So maybe it's not all Cena. Maybe you can thank WWE Creative for how they've portrayed Rollins as a fighting champion, as a honorable champion, as a respectful champion who can get the job done on his own. Oh wait, he hasn't. So maybe it's not all Cena. Maybe it's the way they're written out. Maybe it's the way they're portrayed by Creative. But
yeah, well, I wasn't going that far. I was just saying as far as going,
up against
Cena.
Cena.
After you lose to Cena, that you can go on from that. That's my only point. I'm not saying that you're right or you're wrong. You make some good points. Either way, when you picked Owens last time, I thought you were brave. Now I think you're crazy. I'm going to go with Cena.
Sometime being brave and crazy got me this.
Hey, I hope you're right. I'd love to see it happen.
All right. So you're going with Cena?
Yes, and so is our friend Zach.
And what is Mr. Printer going with this time around?
John Cena wins. I see nothing wrong with that pick. Haha. Printer humor is the best. What did the printer's mother say to the misbehaving printer? Don't use that tone with me. Ha ha ha. So good. So Printer.
I just got it. Tone.
That one was good.
Tone. Like the ink.
You can rub his belly for that one.
I love you, Big Show.
I could rub his belly, or I could just do this. Yeah. I'd rather do that.
I love you, Ken Hill.
Moving on. Moving on. We come to of course, everyone's favorite, the Money in the Bank ladder match. A match that is all but guaranteed the future for the winners. Whoever wins this, the briefcase is good as gold. Cash in anytime up to the next year. Any show, any pay-per-view, you can come out, cash in, and capitalize to win your perhaps your first World Heavyweight Championship, or perhaps you're looking to recapture that main event spark that you had once upon a time, much like Sheamus, Orton, and Kane. Now, there are some competitors in here that you don't really understand why they're competing for this opportunity at a World Heavyweight Championship. Kofi Kingston, he's an entertaining part of the New Day tag team champions, the New Day, but he's mostly been in there as ladder match fodder. He's just in there for the big time spots. You could definitely say the same for Neville. Neville's a good kid. He's a great entertainer. He's a great high flyer. But it's too. And he's been getting a big time push since arrival in WWE. but it's too much too soon. I don't see him coming away with a briefcase here. Now, Orton's pretty much a case of been there, done that. He's already won Money in the Bank. He's already cashed it in. And, I mean, he's already had his shots for the world title this year. He's lost. So, I mean, really to have him, he's kind of starting to grow stale again. So to have Orton holding the case doesn't seem like very entertaining TV to me. Now, Ziggler, I mean, you know me. I've been a big proponent of Ziggler for a while now. I'd love to see him win Money in the Bank again. I'd love to see him contending for the WWE World Championship. But he's on the outside looking in too. I mean, and Sheamus, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense for him to be in the Money in the Bank either, because Sheamus has already got main event qualifications. He's already been a former WWE champion, former World Heavyweight champion, United States champion, King of the Ring. I mean, he's been there. He's been there, done that. I mean, you could put Sheamus into a world championship feud, and no one would blink an eye. No one would question it, because Sheamus has the qualifications to be in the main event anytime, any place. Doesn't matter. So it comes down to two people, Roman Reigns and Kane. Now, there's been a lot of noise made within the Authority that maybe Rollins is not as big an investment as the Authority was hoping for, which is why, even if Rollins does somehow pull through, they'll go with an insurance policy in Kane. If Kane comes away with Money in the Bank, cashes in after the ladder match, and takes the title from Rollins. But the problem is they've been talking on and on about this so much. They've been telegraphing this for so long, for the last 2 weeks. I don't really see this happening. I mean, it's too easy. It's too easy. I mean, and yet so far we've had Roman Reigns, who's been put through the ringer by the Authority, who was made to jump through hoops by the Authority, just to get to this point of being the Money in the Bank match. Now, is that just the Authority just putting roadblock after roadblock in front of Reigns? Or are they testing him? Do we see something different? Is there something different we're supposed to interpret here? That maybe instead of going with Rollins as the future of WWE, they may go with Roman Reigns. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking Reigns wins Money in the Bank, goes on to the world, and capitalizes on whoever comes out as the WWE World Champion, capitalizes and becomes a new WWE World Champion. No, because think about it. Reigns' biggest complaint about the World Championship was that it was always surrounded by J&J Security, Kane, the Authority, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H. But since all of them have distanced themselves from Seth Rollins, perhaps this is the time for Roman Reigns to capitalize and win his first WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So that's who I believe will come out on top. But we're doing things a little differently for this pay-per-view. We're doing things just a little differently. You see, to make things fair for us, to make sure everyone gets an equal opportunity to come out on top of this.
I pick the printer.
We're going to have the very
Is
first.
that how it works? If not, I take the big show.
We're going to have our very first Money in the Bank draft lottery. Now, the interesting thing here, here's how it works. Now, this works much like the NFL draft. Whoever was the worst performing team last year in the NFL would get the first draft pick. So in this case, since Zach came in last for our last pay per preview, he would go first. Then Julian goes second since he came in fourth. Brian would go third. The printer, would go second, and of course, as the champion, I would go last. Now, to do this, we're going to start with Zach, and we're going to pick names. We're going to pick
print
competitors'
money.
names.
Put it in the bank.
We're going to pick competitors' names to determine who our pick will be. Now, if someone's pick wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, they will get what's called a Money in the Bank bonus. Money in the Bank bonus. In other words, at any time for the next 6 months, the next 6 pay-per-views, whoever wins can pick any match at any point during those 6 months, and cash in there, guaranteeing themselves an extra point. Guaranteeing themselves an extra point for that pay-per-preview. Doesn't matter which match it is. Could be a championship match. Could be a multi-man match, a tag team match, any match you want to cash in.
Hey, what do you think about the Money in the Bank robbery? We call it that. The robbery. I'm gonna rob this one. That's what we'll say.
I get more extra points than Steven Goskowski.
Oh,
wow!
That was good.
I call it the bank. I just call it the bank bonus.
Winner can call it whatever
Print
they
it.
want.
Winner can call it whatever they want. Okay. Anyway, they get what I call a bank bonus.
All right, start picking with Zach.
Okay. So, like I said, since Zach came in last for the last paper preview, we'll start with him first. See? We picked names out of a hat. Da 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 da. Okay, so now I'm picking for Zach here. Whichever name Zach will get, that's going to be his pick for Money in the Bank. No redos.
Don't look. All right, pick. Come on, hurry up.
Okay. Now, Zach's pick. What do you know? Roman Reigns. Well, can you zoom in? Can you zoom in? I can't get a good...
Yeah, I'm zooming.
You're zooming?
Yep.
I can't tell you're zooming. Okay. All right, Zach has got Roman Reigns. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that when he finds out. All right, now picking for Julian. Julian has Sheamus. Okay, now for Brian's pick. Brian has Neville.
Aw.
Oh, there's the break. All right. Now for the printer's pick. The printer has Kane. Interesting choice right there. All right. Here goes my pick. Kofi Kingston. Cool, man. All right. So that's it. All right. So review the picks. Zach has Reigns. Julian has Sheamus. Brian has Neville. The printer has Kane, and my pick is Kofi Kingston. All right, so all the other picks, bye-bye.
No.
And the
what are
big
you
show.
doing?
I have the big show.
You have to give the other people 2 picks. Because
Two
what if
picks.
one of those guys you just threw away wins? Then nobody wins. All the people have to be taken. I thought we talked about that.
Okay.
So pick those back up, put them in the hat.
Then I win.
Pick again.
Printer wins.
You want to quit with the baby voice, Brian?
Then I win. Printer wins.
All right. So now to be fair to Zach, Julian, and Brian, we'll pick an additional competitor for each of them, since Greg is a former champion, came in second, and of course I'm the current champion, so having more than one pick would, of course, be unfair and unjust. All right, now Zach's second pick. All right. Oh, Zach's got the luck of the draw. Dolph Ziggler. All right. Julian's second pick. This is interesting. Now, typically WWE likes to pull last minute changes to the card. You know the old saying, card subject to change. So it's been rumored for the last 2 weeks that we could see a surprise entrant into Money in the Bank. We could see the return of Brock Lesnar, who's scheduled to return the following night on Raw. He could storm the battlefield. He could pull down the briefcase and throw everyone a big time curveball. Or we could see the winner of Truth and King Barrett thrown into the Money in the Bank match. Who knows? So to be fair, we threw a wild card entry in. So if by some chance there is an 8th entrant into Money in the Bank, that will be Julian's second pick. And of course, that means for Brian, your second and the last pick will be Randy Orton. Where'd you get that one from? Okay, so that's all of our picks, and like I said, whoever's pick comes out on top will get what I call a Money in the Bank bonus for the next 6 months, where they can cash it in at any pay-per-view over the next 6 months and get a guaranteed extra point on any match that they choose. Very, very tempting, and I think a big time opportunity for those who are looking to get their foot in the door as far as this goes. Is someone calling me a cow? Keep it up.
I think it's sick. I think there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, they're not the only sick ones.
Can you try milking it?
That's it.
All right. Never mind. Just forget it.
All right. Even if I was getting paid, I wouldn't get paid enough for this. All right. Okay, so we come to the final title match of the evening, the main event, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which will be determined in a ladder match between the champion Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Now, their initial match at WWE Payback ended under controversial circumstances. Dean did pick up the pinfall victory over Rollins. However, before that, Rollins pulled the referee in front of Dean when he was attempting a top rope elbow drop. The first ref, even though the second ref would count Rollins' shoulders down for a 3 count, giving Dean the championship, the first ref would come to, reverse the decision, a proverbial Dusty finish, in honor of, named after, of course, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. God bless you, Dusty. Would reverse the finish, meaning that Ambrose did win, but by DQ, and Rollins would retain the championship. Ambrose did not like that, and saw fit to steal the WWE World Championship, holding it hostage over the next 2 weeks. Now, of course, he would agree to give the title back to Rollins if he would get a rematch at Money in the Bank, but this time a ladder match. Now, what's interesting over the last couple weeks is that Rollins has made a lot of noise about he doesn't need the Authority, he doesn't need J&J Security, he doesn't need Kane, he doesn't need Triple H and Stephanie. But the problem is, this was Ambrose's strategy to undermine Rollins' confidence and get him shooting his mouth off about not needing the Authority to get the job done. That worked because now Rollins has completely ostracized himself from the Authority. He has no help from J&J Security, no help from Kane, no help from Triple H and Stephanie. Rollins is, for the first time since his championship victory at WrestleMania, he's all on his own. He's got to do this all on his own. He's got to go it alone against Ambrose to get his world championship back. Now, that being said, I have no doubt that this will be the show stealer of the night. I have no doubt that these two, with all the chemistry they developed with each other over the last 2 years, their feuds in the independents, that they have such a good rhythm with each other in the ring, that they'll put on a fantastic match that we'll be talking about for the next couple of years. I have no doubt about that. As for the finish, though, well, this may surprise you. I mean, I wasn't expecting Ambrose to come out with a victory here, and yet he pulled it off. Who was the only one to pick it? Greg. I thought it was a crazy pick. I thought Ambrose had no chance of winning, and yet Ambrose got the win. So you know what? I may have... Who says I only have to make one crazy pick in a pay-per-view? I'm going with Ambrose to come away with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. However, there's always a method to my madness. Ambrose is not going to have time to enjoy that championship, to having fully earned it. Now, while I did not get to pick Reigns to come out, Zach has that honor. I still believe that Reigns will come out on top. He will come away with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and we'll see what we've been clamoring for. Well, since Reigns broke out on his own, is that he will turn on Ambrose, who somehow skipped, and jumped his way to a World Championship match when Reigns has had to fight through J&J Security, the Authority, and Kane, and every other hurdle that the Authority has placed in his path. Ambrose managed to circumvent all of that to get a WWE Championship opportunity, while Reigns has had to struggle and claw and fight. That's the hidden animosity I see coming to a head right here. I mean, Ambrose will likely be celebrating a hard-earned victory. He'll be exhausted. He'll be worn out. He'll be dead on his feet. Here comes Reigns, cuts him in half with a spear, and you have a new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns. Then these two can have like a one-off feud going into July, and then of course we have the return of Brock Lesnar and the build-up towards the likely eventual rematch between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Where does this leave Rollins? I'm not so sure, but if we had more time, I'd probably go into more detail about that, but we don't. We're kind of stretched thin right here, so I'm just going to go to Brian.
Ken, I appreciate your creativity, but you're stuck in cuckoo land today, buddy. Rollins is going to hold the belt until he meets Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I've said that all along. WWE is not going to change their mind. They're not going to get rid of Rollins completely. I mean, he just lost to his security guards on Monday. They might as well just put the guy back in NXT if he loses this match too. Shave his head, put him back there. Not going to happen, Ken. Seth Rollins. And Zach is also going with Rollins as his lock of the night.
Shocker. All right, Mr. Printer. You going with Ambrose again?
I pick the latter. Or if that is for some reason unacceptable, I pick Ambrose. So first the latter because the match is named after it, and second Ambrose.
The latter might be onto something.
You mean the printer?
Yeah, the printer.
You said the latter.
Him too.
Yeah.
You said ladder.
Why does the printer run away with a ladder? All right. So, like I said, that's all for this week on the paper.
I love you, ladder.
Bank. We thank you all for coming out. We hope you'll tune in this Sunday Money in the Bank to see me retain this once again. I will come out on top. I wish you nothing but the best. And of course, that was a nice little shout out to American Phantom. Congratulations on the Triple Crown victory. American Pharaoh, sorry. Not much of a horse race enthusiast. Now, anyway, like I said, stay tuned for this Sunday and next week when we'll have our Money in the Bank pay-per review, see who came out on top of the victory. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your own predictions you'd like to make about Money in the Bank, if you have any questions about the show, any suggestions, you can email us at wrestlingconnection@gmail.com. You can check us out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Wrestling Connection. You can check out our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Connection, where you can catch all of our present and past episodes, as well as plenty of specials and promos and commercial videos.
I've heard it